Welcome. I am here with my beautiful friend, Michele Duhigg, who is an empowerment as well as a confidence coach. And we all need more confidence now. You
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful babes. Welcome, Michele. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Beautiful. So I'm super excited to talk to you here. We talked briefly before we got on, and you have some beautiful ways of teaching. You have the 3 R's, which are reflecting, reset, rewire. I'm super excited to talk about this, as well as a brand new book, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, correct?
Yeah.
That's exciting. Tell me a little bit about what you do and how you empower women, how you go about teaching them how to gain more confidence. Everyone wants to know how to gain more confidence, especially now with an online world where we're all
Yeah.
constantly trying to present ourselves in the best ways. And I know me, I've had this problem for a long time where I just didn't feel confident to be on video. How do you teach people to do that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot in there. So as you mentioned, I am an empowerment coach and a confidence coach, and how that really all kind of came to be for me was just overcoming a number of obstacles that I had in my own life. I was raised in a fairly religious family and was always seeking some sort of spiritual um, answers, right? Like, why are we here? And always kind of thinking about those larger questions. And I actually ended up joining what I later realized was a cult in college. Um, Definitely learned a lot from it, I'll say, and am a lot stronger and wiser because of it. But it was really interesting to see, after that experience, and I ended up getting married. I got divorced after 10 years of marriage with 2 young kids, like just a lot of stuff. And it all kind of kept coming back to me, like restarting again, which at the time was frustrating, right? But also gave me that opportunity to really kind of realign and allow myself to reflect and to determine, who am I? Why am I here? What are these things that I'm put on this earth to do? And is the life that I'm currently leading supporting that? And in all of those instances, the answer was no. So after my divorce, I really went on this kind of personal journey and transformation, and truly determining who it was that I was and how I could help others figure out who they were and why they were here. And that's really where my 3R system came into place, was just helping women determine, like, okay, what has happened in your past that has gotten you to where you're at right now? Have you actually taken responsibility for the things that you need to? Right. And I talk a lot about with my clients this victim versus victor mentality. Are we just a victim of our circumstances and we feel like I have no power, everything's just happening to me? Or are we presenting ourselves in a way where we are creating our own reality, where we are taking ownership of the responsibility or of the decisions that we make and any consequences that may come along with that? And I just think that that is a huge step that is really kind of our first stepping stone and really heading in the right direction. And then the 2 others that you had mentioned, the reset and the rewire, is really just that one-on-one coaching, helping them kind of break through those limiting beliefs to eliminate a lot of the distraction. I think that that's a huge thing for us right now, like you had mentioned, in the online space and social media and, COVID and a lot of the political things that are happening in the world. There's just so much always going on that is truly just a distraction for us, right? And we always have this excuse that there isn't enough time. There's never enough time. And yet there are a lot of people out there that still manage to get a whole bunch of things done with the exact same amount of time as others who just continue to make excuses. So I think, one of the great ways that I would say that folks can really start boosting their confidence is to start eliminating those distractions. I think you saw this when you were stranded in Colombia and you found yourself with so much free time, let's say, and really taking that opportunity to go deep inside and to meditate and to recognize who you are and find that alignment and just become more aware. If we were all able to do a little bit more of that, I think that confidence would come naturally, because we would know who we are. We would know what our gifts and talents are, and we wouldn't be so caught up in what everyone else is doing and comparing ourselves to other people.
That's for sure. That's beautiful. You and I seem to have a little bit of similar stories. I was not in a cult at all, but I would love to talk to you about that. I actually have a million questions specifically just about the whole cult thing.
Yeah.
But sidetracking for a moment. Yeah, I was in a place where I just got burnt out. I was in a really dark place in my life where some of my viewers and listeners, they know exactly what I'm talking about, but I just needed to reflect on my life and make sure that this is the life that I want to be living. Like there's so many distractions. We live in a world full of consumption right now, like constantly scrolling on social media. My partner says scroliosis, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
Every single one of us has it, and we're just consuming more. I did a workshop last night actually, and during the workshop I was saying half these people that signed up aren't even on it live because they're all consuming everything, signing up for everything, and how many people actually show up live is very minimum. We need to start showing up for ourselves, start showing up for what we believe in and what we really truly want. And if we want that more of confidence, we need to start showing up actually, because how are you going to gain that confidence if you sign up for a million things, consume a million things, but don't take action? How do you inspire your clients to actually take part in that action and actually follow through with everything versus constantly signing up for everything, consuming all of this and not doing anything with that? What advice would you give anyone with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I really think that it comes down to what you're passionate about, and again, it's kind of like if you haven't taken the time to truly reflect and meditate or journal or listen to music, get outside, go for a run, whatever feels good to you, it's just really important to take that time and to truly understand who you are and what lights you up inside, because when you find something that you're that passionate about, that is going to drive you. And that's incredibly important, because life isn't easy, like even as much as we get into alignment and get into the flow and like we're really starting to see that abundance around us and feel that flow come to us and through us, there's going to be challenges still. There are things that aren't going to happen in our timing or when we think they should happen. And so there's a lot of patience that still comes into play. And I just always kind of revert back to you got to know why it is that you're doing what you're doing. What is it that you're passionate about, and what is your purpose? If you're building a business, let's say, why are you doing that? Probably to have more financial freedom, more time freedom, the ability to better support your family or travel or whatever it is. But don't forget about those things when, things get a little bit tough, or you're not bringing in the clients that you think you are, or you're doubting yourself and you're not showing up with that confidence you truly should because you're so worried about what anyone else might think. It's like, that's still gonna be there, but I actually, man, I need to pull it up. I pulled a card this morning from Gabby Bernstein's Spirit Junkie cards, and it so resonated with me. It said,
I love her,
all
by
that
the
I
way.
love.
Anyone listening that doesn't know who Gabby Bernstein is, look her up. She's been a huge mentor in my life, and I'm just so grateful to have.
Yeah, I
falling
know.
out
I
to the
have
left.
like all of her books, and I always refer back to things like, oh yeah, what did she say? But I have these, which I actually saw in another group, Spirit Junkie, and the card that I pulled today said, all that I love is more important to me than all that I fear. And I was just like, yes, exactly. You know, we
Yes.
get so caught up in our head about things, and we get so fearful because we don't want to fail. We don't want to let ourselves down, let other people down. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to create that life that you love if you continue to be held back by all of those fears that you have that are all up here.
That's for sure. So every single person has some kind of fear, some kind of block, some kind of something that's holding them back, but we need to all release that, let that go in order for that to come through. And so we can truly shine for the person that we are today and the person that we want to embody tomorrow, even more so. So how do you work with clients for limiting beliefs? Because we talked about this a little bit before our call, and I work with limiting beliefs as well. However, my way is completely different than yours. How do you work with that? Because everyone has limiting beliefs, no matter what it is. If fear of speaking on camera, or not thinking money doesn't come to me easily, or whatever your limiting beliefs are, there's tons of them. And how do you work with people in order to get rid of those? Or what's a simple tip that they could use on a daily basis in order to get rid of those quickly, easily, and effectively as well?
Yeah. So I use really just a range of mindfulness techniques. I think that it's incredibly important and useful for people to take ownership of their own journey, right? They need to be willing to put in the work, so to speak, and show that this is something they're truly committed to. And so I really like to start people with gratitude, waking up and just being more aware of all the things you have to be thankful for in your life is just going to create more of that and create more awareness of that. So really every morning and every evening, kind of reflecting on your day, think of things that you are grateful for that day. And to make it even more challenging, make it different every day. You know, so you're not saying, oh, I'm thankful for my kids, I'm thankful for my job. Like, okay, but let's think about specifics, right? What's going to get your mind going a little bit more and get you paying that much closer attention throughout your day of things to be thankful for? It's
Yeah,
huge. And
it really is. I love working with gratitude with my clients as well. And on top of saying different things every single day, I also add why you're thankful for it.
yeah,
So you're not just mindfully saying, I'm thankful for my phone, I'm thankful for my kids, I'm thankful for this tree. No,
yeah,
why? Actually spend that time, resonate with why you're thankful for it. I'm grateful for my phone because it allows me to communicate with people across the world, and I could be on Zooms and podcasts and all these beautiful messages for anyone across the world. That's why I'm thankful for my phone. So
yeah.
actually spending that time inwards and reflecting on, again, reflection. This is a big thing for you.
Hmm.
Reflecting on why it is we're grateful for it. Do you have any other tips, tricks, mindset hacks?
Yeah, well, you actually said it. Through that gratitude process, you know, taking it that next step further, right? And why are you thankful for it? But then truly feeling it. And I think that's a huge piece that a lot of people don't really talk about. Um, you know, if you are looking to, if you really want a new car, okay, you have to be thankful for what you have, first of all. And then you have to get really clear on what you want. So you have to know exactly what vehicle you want. And what I recommend to people is you bring visualization into it. And you close your eyes and you truly see yourself in that car, driving that car and the wind blowing through your hair. You feel what it would feel like to be in that new car and driving down the road and other people seeing you driving that car. And you get to the point where you're just so excited about it and you have butterflies in your stomach and you are pumped. Like, that is how you're going to manifest something in your life. And we didn't really talk about manifestation, but I'm huge into that. And I think that it's just such a powerful tool and such a powerful way for us to, again, boost our confidence, because now we're saying, look, I can create my own reality. I have control of what is happening around me, and I am not a victim to my circumstance. I can put these things out into the universe and ask for specific things that I want and need, and know that they're going to come back to me. So the visualization piece is huge. That emotion needs to be linked to that as well to truly manifest things. And then it's really just this cycle, right, of continuing to show and express gratitude and be looking for other things to be thankful for, and being clear on what you want and visualizing it and feeling it and then manifesting it. I mean, it's
Using all of your senses. We have them for a
yeah,
reason. It really is.
absolutely.
I work with manifestation a lot, and I was a law of attraction coach for quite a bit. And it's so beautiful seeing these clients come through and having these like dull moments. And then all of a sudden they're like, this light bulb goes out in them and they're like, hey, I can create my reality. But it really
Yeah.
does start with releasing all of those limiting beliefs and releasing all of that victimhood. That's beautiful. Can you speak a little bit more about the victimhood aspect? Like how to make that switch in your mind? Because I see a lot of my clients even come through and they're like, I deserve this because my life was terrible for me. My mom beat me. My husband cheated on me. And that's putting yourself in that victim mode. Even if you're
Yeah.
not realizing those moments in your life, we need to give that appreciation. We need to give that gratitude for them. But it might be hard because if we're life circumstances, COVID right now, I know so many people that are making themselves the victim because of COVID, because,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe this is happening in my life, but there's this pandemic going on. That is a victimhood. And we need to realize these facts and notice these facts from inside of us in order to switch them. But how do we recognize them? How do we notice them? And how do we flip them, so to say?
Yeah. No, and I think that's a really, really good point. Oftentimes people don't recognize that they're playing the victim, right? And I think that awareness is the biggest step. And realizing that, oh, when I'm thinking that all these things are happening to me and I have no control over any of it, you feel sorry for yourself, right? You come up with a lot of excuses as to why things are happening the way that they are. I would say to anyone, watching or listening to this, if you find yourself saying things such as, I can't do anything about this, or it's too bad that such and such is happening to me. Like, those are little phrases that maybe you can catch on that, oh, maybe I don't have the right perspective on this. Um, it, it's honestly, it is something that's a little bit challenging for me, because thankfully that has been very minimal in my life. And I think in a lot of ways it's because I've seen it so much in other people around me. My mom has always had this victim mentality and continues to have this victim mentality. And I think I recognized very, very young that that wasn't serving her. And a lot of other folks in my family, similar kind of perspective on life. And I feel bad for them, frankly, because I'm like, look, you have all the tools you need. You have everything you need already inside of you to be successful, to change your entire life. Are you willing to own up to the fact that you have allowed this, victim mentality to rule your life for so many years? But all you need to do is make that decision that you're not going to do that anymore. In so many ways, it's often just that simple flip of the switch, that you are aware that you've been a certain way and you don't want to be that way anymore. And you are now going to work on yourself, recognizing that it's a journey. Things aren't going to just be 100% better the next day, right? But it's a journey that you're committed to and you're passionate about, because you know you deserve it and you know you deserve a better life for yourself. Um, Yeah, that one's challenging for me,
Yes.
honestly,
That's
because
beautiful. A similar story. My dad was the same exact way, stuck in that victim mindset. And it's funny, I wrote about this in my book, and he's handicapped and he broke his ligaments in his arm and he just can't move his arm. So he's handicapped for the rest of his life. And he just stayed in that victim mindset saying, why did this happen to me? It destroyed our entire family because of this victimhood and this victim mindset saying, why did this happen to me? My life is so terrible. God, why did you do this to me? And all of this stuff growing up, I heard this my entire life. So at a point, I started to become the victim saying, why did my dad treat me so bad? Because this happened to him. So we need
yeah,
to make sure that we're allowing ourselves to be in this beautiful mindset instead. But it does what you said, we do have to have that willingness. That's what it starts with. We have to have that willingness in order for us to appreciate ourselves and be able to be strong enough and say, you know what, this is not the life that I want to live anymore. I need to flip that script. I need to flip the switch, and I need to be able to live in the full embodiment of who I'm supposed to be versus this victim that is constantly nagging, constantly in this lower vibrating state, which when you're in that state, you're not going to be able to manifest anything. And then your
yeah.
whole life is upside down. It's so interesting to see how people are not willing to allow themselves to be the beautiful person that they're supposed to be. Like you said, everyone has these tools inside of them. We all
Mhm.
have them. So why aren't we allowing ourselves to embody them and to utilize them? And they're simple. Gratitude is simple.
Yeah,
Like all you have to do is say 3 things you're grateful for when you wake up. Is that really hard?
right.
So we need to start implementing these simple tools. Like the secret to life isn't a secret at all. We know what it is. It's simple. We just need to start doing it and be willing in order to do it and allow ourselves to have that mentality that it is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's life.
Yeah. Well, and I think, there's a phrase that says misery loves company. And I use
Yes.
that a lot when I'm talking to people about energies and frequencies. Like, if you're on this really low energy or this really low frequency, feeling sorry for yourself, playing that victim, guess what? Like, take a look around. There's probably a lot of other people that you're attracting and a lot of other things of low vibration that you continue to attract because you're playing at that level. But
Yes.
if you're willing to level up and using tools like gratitude, right, to help you raise your vibration and truly see things from a different perspective, you're going to start attracting those higher vibrations, higher energy, more positive things into your life. And I mean, it's just amazing how it all works, right? But we have the power to make that choice. And, you just hope that if nothing else, start surrounding yourself with more positive people. Start bringing people into your life that you see as a mentor or as someone that you would like to have a similar life to, and see what it is that they're doing. I did that several years ago when I had started my personal journey as well, is really kind of looking at these Gabby Bernsteins and Jen Sinceros and Rachel Hollises and whomever else, that I was like, wow, how did they turn their life around? Because most of them didn't start from success. They built it all themselves. They built their own empire, and they're out there trying to help other people learn how to do it for themselves as well. I mean, we can all do it. We just have to want it.
Exactly. And that's what it starts with, that willingness to do it and that bravery to take that first step,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are stuck in that negative mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I do want to touch back on the cult thing. So how did you realize that you were in a cult? How did that come about? Like you said you were in it for a couple of years before you even like realized that you were in it.
Yeah.
What? How did
Yeah,
that
I
come
mean,
about?
it's really interesting how it all came about, right? Because at the time I had gone away to university. So I was living on my college campus and 2 hours away from my family. And so I essentially had found this new family in this church, and it was very campus oriented. And I mean, there were like full-time ministers on the campus recruiting in students. And most of the students had no local family, no support system. And so, you know, it's interesting looking back on it, like their whole ploy was to bring these people in who didn't have other folks to kind of talk them out of it, right? Like, hey, come join our group.
Low
And
vibrating. That's what they're
yeah,
attracting, the
yeah,
vulnerable. Oh,
yeah. So, and I mean, thankfully it wasn't like some super crazy, I didn't end up doing, you know, it wasn't like a sex cult or like a crazy thing where all of this bad stuff was going on.
well, that's good
But
at least.
it very much was, look, we are going to separate you from everything else. And it kind of, they really taught the mindset that if you were not a part of this group, you were wrong, right? And I think, unfortunately, there are so many religions out there that kind of play that card, as it's like we're right and everyone else is wrong. And you know, after I recognized that, which I'm trying to recall. Oh yeah, so I was super close with a couple of the pastors who were actually being sent out to start a new church on another college campus that was actually in my hometown. And they were like, Michele, when you graduate, come follow us, but don't tell the head pastor that you're going to, and don't let anyone know that this is your plan. And so all these red flags started going up, right? I'm like, wait, you guys are leaving and you want me to go, but I can't tell anyone about it. So of course I ended up talking to a couple of folks in the church still and was like, what's going on with this? And I talked to the head pastor, and he had basically said, look, the only way that we're going to allow you to leave is if you replace yourself 3 times over. So his whole thing was, I need more members before I'll even allow you to leave. So after that, it was kind of like, this is really weird. I don't think this is the way that church is meant to go. The Bible doesn't say anything about this. Like, I'm pretty sure your priorities are out of whack here. Let me start distancing myself. And very, very quickly afterwards, I was just like, wow, this was so insane that I had spent 2 years of my life in this church. I was planning to become a minister when I graduated and just continue to build up the church. And of course, you know, my parents were trying to talk sense into me, trying to help me recognize, like, it's never okay when an organization is telling you to cut out everything else in your life and that you can only spend time with them on their, you know, terms and all of that. So fast forward, I got out of that and actually ended up going back to my boyfriend that I was forced to break up with in order to join the cult, and we ended up getting married and had kids and were married for 10 years. But yeah, it was an interesting
wow.
experience that definitely changed my whole perspective on religion and spirituality. And you know, I'm very thankful, truly thankful for the experience, because it's has enabled me to help a lot of other people kind of look at life a little bit differently.
Yeah, wow, that is crazy. You were definitely seeing those red flags, and wow, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad there was some beauty that came out of this afterwards. You ended up being with your ex-boyfriend, soon to be husband, and have beautiful children now. So that's a beautiful, wow, wow, wow. I'm glad that you were able to realize these. Like, what kind of learning experiences did you get from it other than this is not how church should be? Like, what are some of those take backs that you got from then, that what you realize now looking back at it, you're like, wow, I'm impressed at myself,
Yeah.
actually.
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, I think that it really spoke to that strong calling that I've always had. You know, like I had mentioned earlier in the interview, I always felt like there was more to life. Like, there's a reason why I'm here. I had a very strong calling on my life. And at, you know, 20 years old, 18, 19 years old, the only thing that I had ever known that was in connection to like purpose of life was religion and God. And so that was the path that I took, and that's where I found myself. Um, Looking back now and over the last several years, as I've kind of gone on this spiritual journey, I've realized that in so many ways, all religions are virtually the same, and they're all kind of, when you study law of attraction and you understand the energies that make up everything in the universe, it becomes pretty clear, at least the way that I view it, is that is all the same, right? Like the universe and religion and science and energy, it's all the same, just said a little bit differently.
It's
And
all this,
so
it
as
all means
we,
love. That's what it
yeah,
is. Every
exactly.
single religion, no matter what you believe in, it all equals to love. And that's what
Exactly.
we all need more of. Love is the answer to all. We all need to add more love into our lives.
Yep. And the more that we can recognize that for ourselves and whatever that might look like in our own spiritual journey, like that's what it is. And so I think looking back on how I joined this cult and was a part of it for 2 years, and then honestly was very lost afterward as far as religion and spirituality was concerned, because my whole life had been turned upside down. It took me a while to see that that might look different for everyone, and everyone has a right to their own journey and their own experiences, but they're having them for a reason. And so I think it kind of comes back to knowing who you are and being in alignment, as you recognize what really feels good to you and what feels like it flows for you, and that's what you should do. So it's been an interesting many years.
Journey.
Yeah. But super awesome, and it just really gives me a lot of different perspectives to be able to provide other people and insights. And I have definitely found, where there was so much judgment before because religion was so much about right and wrong, that now there isn't. And like you had mentioned, there's just love, there's that acceptance. And that is what we all truly need.
Yeah, that's what we all need more of. Oh, so beautiful. So tell me more about your book. What's it about? Where can people get it? Tell
Yeah,
me more.
I'm so excited. This opportunity truly just fell in my lap. It is a co-authoring opportunity that I heard about several months ago, and it's just been such a great experience. I teamed up with 16 other women, and we all just shared our story about some sort of obstacle that we had to overcome in life, and really choose to rise up and choose to let go of that victim mentality, choose that victor mentality, and really create the kind of life that we wanted. And so it's called the Rising Sisterhood. It's available on Amazon. I believe the pre-orders are already open for the Kindle version, but the actual hard copy book is going to be launching March 11th. And all of the proceeds are actually going to be donated to charity. It's going to the Trevor Project, which is a nonprofit that focuses on raising awareness for suicide prevention among the LGBTQ community. So it's super, super cool.
My heart's
Really goes
melting.
back to that whole love and acceptance. And we are all here for a reason, and we all, deserve to create the kind of life that we want. So I'm honored to be a part of this group, and it's going to be super cool to see the kind of impact that it has on the readers.
That's beautiful. Oh, it just melted my heart where it's going, and the message behind it. Oh, so beautiful. So this has been absolutely wonderful. I think every single person is going to get some takeaways from this, little golden nuggets here and there.
Yeah,
That was all
I
so
hope so.
beautiful. So where can people find you? Where can they follow you? How can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I'm most active on Facebook. I have the Wild and Free Warrior Sisterhood group there. I would love for folks to join. You can also find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. not so much Twitter anymore. It's hard to keep up with all of
It
the
is.
social media
And there's like
platforms.
Clubhouse just started, and
I
then other new
know.
things started. I was like, oh my gosh, we don't need more consumption. We just
I
talked about this
know.
in the
I
beginning. We don't
know.
need more.
So
Focus on what you were doing.
Facebook is my main platform. Instagram, I'll still see your message or something eventually.
Well, thank you so much, Michele. It was so beautiful having you on. I think everyone's going to walk away with this with a little bit of inspiration and hope in their hearts. And hopefully you can inspire someone to get out of a cult.
Yeah.
We can laugh
Thank
about
you
this
so
now.
much
It's
for
been
having
long
me.
enough.
Yeah, no, exactly. It all happened for a reason, and I am all about sharing my experiences and my struggles because I want to be able to help the next person through theirs.
And that's what it's all about. Something that's been coming to me recently while I've been meditating has been lead by example. And the way you do that is fully being you, healing yourself, being who you're supposed to be. And by doing that, you're going to inspire so many people, and you're doing exactly that. And that's so beautiful. So thank you, thank you, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
All right, Michele, goodbye.
Bye.
Get your free 10K abundance activation today. This is a 2-part activation where we will first release subconscious money blocks from your energetic field to be able to receive abundance coming your way. Then you will sit in meditation and activate the energetics of consistent 10K months. To download this 10K activation, go to aniahalama.com/10K-activation.